wooden bead garland. This is one of the easiest ways to make one. I think you're going to love it. So you're going to start out with some hemp twine. This is different from regular twine. It's actually thinner and easier to work with. So I'm just threading a really large-eyed sewing needle because I find it a lot easier to use this when especially you're using the crocheted beads. Now I am using the 20 millimeter wooden beads and the 20 millimeter crocheted beads. These are cute little beads that come in multiple colors and have this wonderful crocheted finish on the outside. And then you just make up your pattern. I'm just stringing the beads, each one at a time, onto the hemp twine. I don't have a knot at the other end. Again, I'm just simply stringing the beads here one by one. Once you get the number of beads on there and it's the length that you want, you're going to take some regular jute twine and any type of object. I took the cylinder top of a container that was plastic, and you're going to wrap it around. You can always use your fingers, but I feel like the larger tassel makes a better statement, so I chose a larger circle. You can make this out of cardboard or whatever material you want, and I just start wrapping the disc in around and around, and this is going to make our jute twine tassel for the end. It is super easy. Again, you can cut out a piece of cardboard, whatever size you want. That is how large and how long your tassel will end up. So I just snipped the other end, and now I have all of this twine around the cylinder, and I'm going to take a second piece, the hemp twine, and I'm going to fish it through the underneath of the regular twine, and then I'm going to tie a knot there and make that be the end of my beaded garland. So I just knotted the hemp twine through the regular twine, and of course you could use fabric or whatever else you would prefer, but I just chose this chunky jute regular twine as my tassel. Then you're going to simply take some scissors and cut it at the bottom. So right there at the bottom loop, I'm cutting it in half. Don't worry if it's not perfect. You can always trim that part later. So I've got it knotted at the top, and I'm going to repeat the same process on the other side of my garland in just a minute. First, I want to finish this side and this tassel. So over here, I'm going to take another piece of the chunky twine and tie a knot about an inch or so down from the top of my tassel. And this is going to be the little head of our tassel, and I'm going to trim it so that it's really finished out. I took the hemp twine off, and then now I'm going to trim the tassel with some bling, and the bling is going to give it just one level of cuteness higher than it would be without. So I just trimmed up this bling. You can grab this bling trim at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use a little dot of hot glue to adhere it right here to where I tied the knot at the head of the tassel. So super easy, but a really fun way to embellish this tassel is, again, to just trim it with another ribbon or some of this shiny bling. Just use the end of my scissors here to protect my fingers from the hot glue. And voila, easy for me to say. That is how easy that is. I'm going to repeat the process here on the other side. Again, taking the hemp twine end, trimming it off, and adding a heavier jute twine for our tassel. A cylindrical object. Again, I do prefer cardboard, but I had this circle top that I used instead, so it's kind of coming off of there. Just kind of pay attention to your wrapping of the twine, and then I'm going to take the other end, snip it, and grab it and run it through this bunch, I don't know what else to call it, bunch of twine. And then I'm going to tie it in a knot so that it's secure and tie my tassel in. Not too tight. You do want to leave some leeway on your garland because you want to be able to have the beads move around once it's all done, so that if you want to wrap the beads in a circular fashion, you still can, and it's not so tight between the beads that you can't do anything with it. So just leave a little bit of tension, leave some leeway for your beads to be able to move around on the garland once it's finished. So I'm just going to snip the end again of the hemp twine once I have it tied really tight, and I'm going to snip the end of the tassel as well. Again, when you finish with these tassels, if you want, you can go back and you can trim them again to match them up perfectly, or you can leave them the way that they turn out from just trimming them this way. Now at the top, again about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch, I'm going to add another piece of the jute twine in order to create the head of our tassel. Now if you're having a fabric tassel or a looser thread at the bottom, you don't have to add this little head. It is just a signature look for a tassel, but you can leave and use a loose tassel if you prefer without adding this little step here. I like to add it because it does make the tassel look a little more finished than it would otherwise. And I'm just going to going to trim this. I'm leaving the bottom half because it sort of blends with the rest of the tassel. And then I'm going to add the rhinestone bling trim again to this tassel. It's super easy, super fun. I love the way that this embellishment turns out. It makes the entire would-be garland just pop and look super duper fancy. I hope that you will try one of these would-be garlands. The fun is in picking out the color of beads or even painting your wooden beads first. I have some tutorials on how to stain your beads and then how to go crazy with your tassel choices. Again, you can use all sorts of yarns, fabrics, and twines to your heart's content to match the rest of your decor. If you love this project as much as I do, you'll be making these for all over the place. Put them on a tiered tray, use them in a dough bowl, wrap them around a candle, or even use them on your mantle. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. I love to have you stick around.